All righty, we are now live on Facebook, everyone. So very excited for this week's Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate. Welcome to another one. We do this every week and we bring on the best of the best in our industry, local realtors who come on and lenders who come on and share with you guys each week what their best tips are in real estate, because we're all wondering about it, right? And there's so much knowledge out there and so much information, and we really wanted to just put together this platform for some of the best people to be able to tell you what their opinions and perspective is on it. So we really appreciate you guys joining us every week. My name is Lucy McGuire and I'm with Arrow Title Services, and we host this every week. And you can watch the replay on our YouTube channel. So every week you can go back and look at that if you're watching. So we are going to go into it. Today's topic is one that I think is very, very valuable for everyone who's watching. It is rent versus buy. So we are going to go right into it. And I am going to have Alannah go first. So I'm unmuting you, or you can unmute yourself, and then I will spotlight your video.
Hi there, everybody viewing. This is a really exciting topic. There's a lot of fear around buying, the fear of commitment around, a 30-year mortgage that I think is just false. Renting, you're paying someone else's mortgage, essentially. And they're probably making an income off of that. And if you can get into the place where you're paying for your own mortgage and something you own is able to accrue more value over time, that's how you continue to step up the ladder towards financial security and building a lifestyle you want. So I think there's a lot of fear that can be dispelled when you get in touch with a professional and start talking about it.
Awesome. Thank you, Alannah. That was great feedback. All right. And then next we have Antonella. Where did you go on my screen? There you are.
I'm right here.
And I've spotlighted your video.
Oh, thank you. Hi. Hello, everyone. This is Antonella Zervopoulos with Atlantic Shores Realty. And just like Alannah said, there's usually a lot of fear into the commitment of buying. But if you think about it, if you're renting, you still have to have a commitment for at least 12 months. And at the moment, because of COVID, I have seen a lot of people turning down some credit score that are not, optimal. And if you go with a professional, you still have to do a credit check. You still have to present your credit score. And sometimes they want 620, 640 credit score. So, at that point, you might as well do the jump. And again, like Alannah said, just talk to a professional and see if you can possibly buy, because, in that case, you will put equity into your own house instead of paying somebody else's, mortgage, and have a peace of mind that that house is going to be yours. And, you can do whatever you want to the house. You don't have to ask permission to change the color of the walls. So that was it.
Great, thank you. It's great input. Alrighty, and so they were realtors, and then we're going to kind of go back and forth between the lending side and the realtor side of things. So first up, we have our Tony Garcia, who is going to go on, and he is a lender. So it's going to be they are a very important part of this process. So I'm very excited to hear about it from you. So go ahead and unmute yourself, Tony. I'm spotlighting your video now.
All right. Hello, everyone. Again, Tony Garcia, CrossCountry Mortgage. I want to go over a little bit. I did kind of come on here. I'm going to share my screen and go over a couple things with you. So, there's a lot of things that come with it. In this little slide and screen share I'm going to do, there is something on there that I'm not including. So it depends on where you're at if you are currently renting. So obviously, as we know, if you're currently renting and you're still in a lease looking to buy, you're not going to have, your first, last, and security to put down. So I haven't included this in this, but I wanted to give some people more of an idea of, hey, if I don't buy now, what's going to happen and kind of where the market's at now. So let me see if I am able to do this right first and foremost. So let's see. So it says host disabled screen share.
Oh no, it shouldn't. Hold on. didn't have that in the settings.
So now, unfortunately, these people just have to stare at me for the time being.
Darn.
I'm sorry.
That is far from the worst thing we could be doing right now.
All right, you can share a screen now.
All right, there we go. So let me make sure I'm sharing the right one. All right, is anybody seeing the real estate report card?
Yes, we are.
All right, so that's kind of the first thing that I want to go over. So right now, I'm just using obviously the county that we're closest to on the Treasure Coast that just typically has the most volume in sales, and it's going to be that St. Lucie County, Port St. Lucie area. And what this is simply just a report card showing what the median sales price is, things like that, the projections for appreciation here in the next couple years. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but just to give people kind of an idea of, hey, I don't want to buy now. The market is going to drop, prices are going to come down, things are going to happen. Well, as we all know, and I'm sure a lot of fellow realtors on here, or the realtors on here are going to come in and say, the market hasn't slowed down. So what we're seeing as well, statistically, is appreciation. So do you see my cursor as well?
Yes.
Okay, so the median home price right now in St. Lucie County is roughly right around that $250,000 mark. The biggest thing when I'm talking to clients that are, hey, I'm on the fence, I'm thinking about waiting, I'm thinking about, giving it a year, maybe prices will drop. This right here is specifically the 34953 in St. Lucie County as a whole. However, it's still being forecasted that there's going to be an appreciation of 0.84%. So some people that doesn't seem like a lot, but if you're sitting back still holding off on, hey, I don't want to move forward, prices are going to come down, I'm going to wait for that next big boom to come in the opposite way for my gain, it's not going to be the most beneficial. Over 5 years, as you'll see here, over 5 years, if you were buy today and wait, you're losing that 16.45% in appreciation over the time. So a lot of the percentage don't always make sense. So here's another way to kind of figure it out. If you buy today at the median sales price of $250,000, in 1 year, it's likely the appreciation is going to get you to $252.33. So you're basically getting about $2,000 in appreciation. And as you can see, each year after that, it's just going to continue until this 5 year of what their current forecast is. Because obviously historical data is here, forecasting data is from the next 1 to 5. The other big key that I tell people is where we're at specifically, and that's why we always say speak to people local, is this kind of gives you an idea here of the current builds being built and how much shortage that we have. So the amount of people we have out buying in the formations we have is roughly 3,200, 3,300. This shows the actual homes being built in the market as of now is right around 1,500. And if you actually look at all these boxes, these ones that are not checked are still the shortage of homes that we have in the area. So it is going to be a huge factor that when there's shortage, there's also not typically going to be any drop in pricing or anything like that, because it's supply and demand. If the supply is there or the demand is there, it's going to happen. That's kind of a big thing I want to show you there is we're already short on homes, and appreciation is forecasted to continue going up, even going through COVID. Lastly, just to kind of give you a comparison, again, here, I did not put in any first, last, or security to these pricing. I just simply went off rent. So if you're renting for, say, $1,800 a month, renter's insurance is about $30 a month. Rent increase here in St. Lucie County is roughly 4.8% on an average. If you were looking to buy a $250,000 home and that median sales price where you're at, homeowners insurance, even repairs of $100 and some included a month in case something were to happen, your loan amount with minimum a down payment of 3.5% on an FHA loan, mortgage insurance, which those are more talks we can go in later, closing cost included. This kind of shows you in year one, with the closing costs that you've paid, you're still going to have a gain of roughly $200 that year. So if you wait, you sit there and look, you may lose that, but your year two, no matter what, you're procrastinating and prolonging what you're going to actually get back. So in year two, net gain by buying a home would be $14,300. but plain and simple, without even going and purchasing a home now and delaying, 12 months, not let alone did you lose buying a home and paying something off, you also are simply losing out on money right from the start. So that's basically just kind of what I wanted to go over right now. And then, if anybody else, I need to get back. How do I quit sharing my screen?
Just did it for you.
All right, perfect. So that's basically all I have. If anybody has questions, those are documents that I send out to clients that just are kind of looking and need to see stuff in writing. It just makes more sense to some people seeing it that way. And it all changes. If you're looking to sell in 5 years, you're obviously going to be in a different scenario as well. So that's all I have to share so far today.
Thank you, Tony. That was great. Appreciate that. All right. And next we're going on to Carol. Carol Dols. So I'm going to spotlight your video now and you are up.
Hi, everybody. Carol Dols here with Gateway Mortgage. I don't have a big old screen to share like that since I'm on my phone, and obviously I'm not as prepared as Tony, but one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about buying versus renting, chances are if you're in that demographic, you're a first-time home buyer, and you might be thinking, well, I can't buy a home because I don't have the money for down payment and closing costs. I may have money for my last month's rent. But one of the things that sorry about that, my phone rang while we were on it. One of the things that we mentioned last week was how guidelines are changing constantly. Well, one of the things that happened probably within an hour after our video last week is we got back the down payment assistance program. So if you're a first-time home buyer thinking you can't buy a home, chances are you can get into that home right now, and your payment, from what I've seen for all the first-time home buyers that I've been doing over the last several years, because the rates are so low, your payment is going to be less than your rent. And a lot of times people are like, well, I'm paying $1,500 a month for rent right now. I don't want to spend more than that. Well, that's going to get you a nice home in Port St. Lucie if you're paying $1,500 a month in rent. And we can come up with that down payment and closing cost assistance for you and get you into that home. That's
awesome.
it.
That's a great insight into the first-time home buyer, which a lot of people are nowadays. And I think that that's important to touch on. We'll probably have to do a whole segment on first-time home buyer. So Jessica Taylor, you are up next.
Hello.
I'm unmuting you and spotlighting you now.
Hi. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
You guys know I love presentations, so of course I had to make a presentation. It's really short though. So down when I was in Miami, I worked with a lot of younger folks that in my circles. So I had this discussion a whole lot, renting versus buying. And sometimes I would be like, yeah, just buy. It only makes sense just to buy. But basically what I do is what I would suggest to them is always, do your research, do some math. And Tony, that spreadsheet that you had was awesome. Like I was in love with that. So I need that. That's basically what I would tell my clients is just to do your math and to talk about your financials and what your break-even point, because honestly what I learned, and not everybody even wants to buy, either A, because they're not used to the new location that they're in, or two, they're just not educated about that. So that's our jobs as the realtors, as the lenders, as the mortgage brokers, to educate them and teach them about that. So I would always suggest to them that as they start doing their research, they need to consider what the housing market currently looks like. And as Tony mentioned again, what it's going to look like in 5 years, depending on what your goal is, and what the potential ROI is on your purchase, and how long they plan on actually staying in the home. If they're going to rent for 1 year to get used to the area, okay, that's fine, but also save your money for that down payment, assistance. And let's go ahead and keep on going. And these are some decision-making factors that I would suggest to anybody looking to rent or to buy. What type of stability do you want? Do you want to just be able to stay there for 1 year? Or what happens if your landlord says, okay, I'm selling, you got to be out in 6 months? Sorry. The financial predictability, that's on the rent side. Your rent will stay the same for at least the year, but then, your mortgage could, fluctuate depending on what type of things that you got. if you want to buy something, that's, you know, the pride of ownership. Like, I'm very proud that I own my ring light now, because hello Zoom, we've been on Zoom, like this is like my third Zoom meeting of the day. So I'm really proud of my ring light. And the growth of your home equity line if you were to buy something, and then the differences with the upfront cost, and then also like the cost of the ownership. So it's a really, like, you know, you have to like really weigh your options. And not to reiterate things here, these are my closing thoughts, but then this is like my contact information here if you want to have more info. And yeah, I'm just, you know, excited to be here. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop my share. And those are my thoughts on renting versus buying.
There you go, did it for you. Awesome, that was great. I love you guys' presentations. Thank you, Jessica. All right, so next is Sam. I'm unmuting you now and spotlighting your video. All right, so next is Sam. I'm your video.
Okay, guys. So,
All right.
kind of piggyback, Jessica, making.
You're a little,
Okay.
yeah. You're a little, yeah. Okay, so the feedback's coming from. Okay, so the feedback's coming from. I can hear myself. All right. No, we can't hear you. You muted yourself. So here. I just unmuted you.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah. Are you watching it on your phone?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. There's no feedback now.
Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so basically, as I was mentioning, just to kind of piggyback on what Jessica spoke about, making the choice to buy versus rent your next home, it is a major decision. And there's really no single correct answer for anyone when you speak about pros versus cons, because everyone's situation, it's very different. But one of the major factors in anyone's decision to purchase their home, it kind of goes back to finances. Sometimes renting may seem a little more affordable. However, that's not always the case. The decision, it always boils down to basically your lifestyle considerations, such as whether you discipline yourself enough to save your money and do the things that needs to be done to put yourself in the position to be a homeowner, such as budgeting as well. And whether you want that flexibility or the stability of renting versus buying. And if you're on the fence about what you should do, whether renting versus buying, of course, you should always weigh the pros versus cons, because as mentioned, everyone's situation is different. And of course, you want to be sure that you're putting yourself in the best position for yourself as well as your family.
Great, thank you. That's a great aspect to highlight. All right. And then, so those two were on the realtor side, and then we're going to go back to the lending side now with Amanda. So I'm going to, you're going to have to unmute yourself. There you go. And I've spotlighted your video.
Thank you. Hey, Amanda Foster with the Sterling Mortgage Group at Element Funding, and I don't have my dog with me this time, so there will be no screen interruptions from me. I just wanted to basically agree with everything that everybody said. Tony, the presentation that you did was awesome, so that people really can see the true value of buying versus rent. And again, agree with what Carol said. A lot of times when you're paying a monthly rental payment, you can get a lot more property if you were to purchase rather than paying that rent. Plus, if you are actually buying your own property, that monthly payment that you're making, part of that payment is made up of principal, which is starting to reduce your mortgage balance straight away, giving you equity in the home. So definitely worth it. Another big advantage as well is the tax savings, because once you own your own home, the mortgage interest and also a portion of the property taxes can be deducted, so saving money that way as well. And we all know With renting, you have first, last month and security deposit. And depending on how much you look to rent for, that sometimes can even equate to what a deposit would be to purchase a home anyway. So they are my thoughts.
Absolutely. No, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that that's a lot of people don't realize that, how quickly that money adds up.
Exactly. Yeah. And the tax benefits as well when you buy versus renting is definitely a benefit, because you get to offset that and save yourself money.
Absolutely. Next, we have Dana. And you had to unmute yourself, and I'm spotlighting your video now.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dana Menenti with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. So I think that this is such a great topic because we all need a place to live. And when you think about renting versus buying, it is a really big decision. So if we want to just compare the two, you know, following off of what everyone else has said, if you are renting, what else are you investing in for a long-term goal? So like if we think about Tony's slide, in 5 years, your rate on return for a house is 16%. I don't know any investment out there. I mean, maybe a risky stock, but you know, to have that kind of growth in a 5-year period is huge. So house is, you know, all the benefits that they all talked about, but it is definitely should be part of your financial portfolio. So you can leverage it with equity, you know, you can sell it, get cash, and again, with the tax savings too. So I definitely think that if you are going to buy, then you do want to look into your credit, you know, try and talk to someone. All of us lenders have a lot of experience with that. Realtors have experience with that. You know, just get yourself in a great position to, you know, make that purchase and help you in your future, your financial future.
Absolutely. Love that. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
All right, going back to the realtor side of it all. I see we have Codi here, so I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, Codi, or you got to unmute yourself, and I'm spotlighting your video now.
Codi here, Bourgeois Real Estate Group. I would say to a person, just think about all the money that you're spending monthly, what you spend in a year paying somebody else's mortgage. You could probably use half of that every month, you know, paying your own mortgage, gaining equity in the property, the tax benefits. You know, as a renter, you're really in a bad spot, because if the owner of that house decides that they want to sell, you now have to move quickly. So, you know, to me, it's always better. It's a better proposition to own than it is to rent. Things break, they have to fix things, they want to raise the rent on you. It's just so much, you're just at such a disadvantage, you know, when you're renting. So, you know, that's what I would tell people, is think about the long-term benefits, and you know, the equity we gain helps your net worth in the end. So that's what I would tell a person.
Absolutely. I love that. Thanks, Codi. All right, and next we have Brenda. Unmute, you gotta unmute yourself, and then I'm spotlighting your video.
Yeah. Hi guys, hello. This is Brenda Josaphat with Keller Williams. Rent versus buy. I love discussing this with my clients. I actually came up with this phrase that I use whenever I meet someone that wants to rent and they're unsure what decision to make. I always tell them to picture themselves driving along I-95 on the 1st of every month, roll their windows down, and have a wad of cash, which would represent your monthly rental payments, and just throw it out the window, make it rain on the highway. That's literally what you're doing every month. You're throwing this money away that you'll never see. You never gain equity on a home, not to mention stability. You gain stability if you have small children. You no longer have to move them from different districts, school districts, which is important. Kids love to be stable. They make friends in their neighborhoods. They go to certain schools. They make friends, and they just want to grow up with those childhood friends, develop those childhood friendships. What else would I say? It's the equity, which is really important. Building that generational wealth, teaching your children or generations that are coming after you the importance of buying and having that pride of, that sense of ownership, which is really important. So that's usually how I always start off my conversations with my clients.
Great, love that. Thank you, Brenda. I love your analogy of the money thrown out the window. So I think that's
make it rain.
Yeah, make it rain, and just it should be raining on you, not someone else. All right, next we've got Katey. I'm gonna unmute you and spotlight your video.
Hey, Katey Bourgeois with the Bourgeois Real Estate Group. It's great to see everybody. What a great conversation this is. And, kind of being toward the end of the line, I'm not going to repeat everything that everyone said because it's such great information. But what I also wanted to add to that is that, I love making it rain on the highway. You're basically paying someone else's mortgage. And when it comes down to that, you're either making a choice for yourself or someone's making that choice for you. And that's kind of how I see rent versus own. And on the ownership side, with all the benefits that we heard about, in addition to that, having a home gives you a level of freedom, space, and privacy that renting will never give you. Now, Florida Realtors today actually released an article, and it got me thinking a little bit about our current conversation. And it was kind of funny that it came out today. I don't know if you guys catch that, but definitely read up on Florida Realtors. Are coming out with great information every day. It's available to the general public as well as realtors. They're noting across the nation and locally that investors are kind of pulling back from the market, which is giving first-time home buyers the advantage, or buyers in general, the advantage to have a little less cash competition in the market. So that's been a big problem in St. Lucie County with multiple offers and cash investors for years in a property that's priced right and in good condition. It's going to have multiple buyers, and right now that's happening. Maybe we're seeing the investors pull back a little bit, which gives the people that are ready to buy now an opportunity that maybe they wouldn't have had in a different situation. Also, those investors pulling out of the market, right? So maybe in months from now, years from now, a year from now, 6 months from now, if there are no new investors providing rentals, the current rent is going to go up, continue to go up, maybe even spike if we don't have the ability to fill that need. So keep, these are great considerations. Maybe some new tips that the other realtors and lenders can share with their people by reading that article. And again, Carol and Tony and a few others talking about, go to your local expert. We're the ones that know what's going on as far as programs. And I'm going to share my screen real quickly just to highlight that just today in an email, if you are monitoring your email, St. Lucie County let the realtor family, the membership, know that the attainable housing program is back, and they sent us information so you can provide this to people that are ready to, or going to be maybe making the decision to buy a home versus rent. And then I also have, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay. And also that, there's a little payment scenario here from Trusted Lender Resource of Mine. In addition to Tony, oh my God, Tony, thumbs up, man. I want to get with you and let's do let's do something on Zoom for our reach and work together. There's a payment scenario there where, you're just making it rain on the highway. You're just giving that money away. So you might as well hold on to it and put it towards your future. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about this. This is important.
Absolutely, yes, and I completely agree. That's why I was so excited for this. It's such a great. I think it's a topic that everybody thinks about, right? Everybody, when they're going to rent. I mean, everybody has to have a house. Someone mentioned that. You have to live somewhere, and you're either renting or you're buying. So it's one of two options, and I think that this is truly an awesome conversation to just have in general. I do want to open it up if there's anything like last minute, if anybody wants to throw anything in of something that they thought about. Codi, you have something?
I didn't get a chance to speak.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, God, this is my list. I'm sorry. You know, every week it's somebody. You know, we're just gonna go around. It's like a.
We gotta stick to the list.
Stick to the list. Go ahead, Peter. I'm spotlighting your video now.
Just a second to talk about a small group of people that we really didn't get to touch too much on, except for Katey just the last time. Investors. Let's just say you're a homeowner already. You already have a ton of equity in your home, but I mean, you really don't have any ambition to move. You could always use that equity from your home to purchase a second home to rent out. And just like that was just said, property values are going to start going up. And that's also going to drive a spike of rental costs. So not only will you be purchasing a home at a really good interest rate, or you may not have to use any loan whatsoever. You may have that cash in on hand, but all of that equity in both of those homes are now going back into you. And now you're building wealth, building not just a little bit of wealth, but generational wealth, something you can hand down to your family members or your children or whatever the case may be. But you can piggyback those assets, because that's what they are. You'll piggyback those assets for a long term. And eventually maybe you'll own multiple properties. But that's really the mode that we like to set people in, even when they are first-time home buyers. 5 years down the road, of course, you're building equity in your home. But what happens after you pay off your home? What happens then? You don't have to stop building wealth after you own one home. You can use that wealth that you've already built to either rent your own home out that you have full equity in, and you'll be getting those rental payments every day. Purchase something, maybe downsize into something for just you and your husband because the kids are out of the house. Or you can purchase another home and rent it out, and you'll still be building equity in that home, and you'll be taking in rental income at the same time. So if investors, if you have any questions regarding that, just reach out to me. I'm Peter Negron with the Hunt Group, powered by Keller Williams. And I'm here for anybody out there that has any kind of questions about investments.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you. I'm glad that we, touched on first-time home buyers and investors, and I love just all the information that you guys have brought to the table. I think you guys have really made a well-rounded thing about it. So Codi has something he wants to add really quick.
I was actually going to touch on what Peter was talking about, because I've been in the rental market here lately a lot, and in this area, the rent is just ridiculous. And as soon as I keep trying to tell people, like, if you're going to waste your money, if you're going to throw away a ton of money, why not buy a house? If you don't like the house in a year or 2 years, buy another one, rent that one out, get that passive income. I mean, the way that the rent is now, I mean, $1,300 a month, people are fighting over these houses. I mean, they don't last a day, like sometimes hours, right? And, so unless you have $1,800 a month to throw away, you're really not going to find anything worthwhile. So to me, it's like, if you're going to dump a bunch of money, you may as well own.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And I think that that's why it's so important to talk about this subject. Is there anything else anybody else has to add? Yep. Katey? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I was trying to unmute you and you were unmuting yourself. There you go.
Teamwork makes the dream work. So real quickly, just before I jumped on, I did a very simple search. Single family homes, townhomes, and condos between 100 and 250,000, which we know is kind of that sweet spot for those that are deciding to go from renting to owning, which are usually first-time home buyers, or it's been a long time since they owned a property. There were 276 properties. I started drilling them down, but I just put in the basics: 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage in St. Lucie and Martin County, which both areas we serve. And there are some affordable options out there, and the average time that those properties have been on the market is about 76 days as of today. So there really isn't a lot of options. If you look at the closed sales for April 2020, which was last month, right? Closed sales totaled 471 in St. Lucie County alone. 471 properties were sold. Median sale price 244.4, which is that's what we're looking at. These are the people we're talking about. you know, those properties went under contract in about 30 days. So that is showing there's a good amount of competition. So get with your lenders, get with your realtors, get with your trusted local expert, and get the information that you need in order to make a good decision for your lifestyle, for your family, for your wealth building ahead.
Absolutely. And you guys pay attention to the people who are on this call. These are the local people that you want to reach out to. Jessica, go ahead.
Yeah, and I just definitely want to just piggyback on that, Katey. As a person that's looking and trying to figure out renting versus buy, it's so important to build a team. As that individual, you can't do this without a team, and especially a knowledgeable team to actually guide you to the right point depending on your goals. So anybody out here watching this, trying to figure it out what your step one is going to be, step one, find your lender and find your realtor. And then you can't go wrong from there.
Exactly. I like that.
And stay loyal to them.
Yeah.
They are your trusted partners.
Team for life, forever.
I see that, Sam, you have your hand raised, and then go. Oh, you could unmute yourself.
Okay.
There you go. Oh.
Definitely, just what Jessica just said, we are the ones that can kind of point you in the right direction. So if you're confused about your starting point, what direction you need to go in to get the whole process started, we ourselves as realtors, we've built a whole team. So if you don't know where to start, we can definitely get you started and start at level one. But like I said, if you've already done everything you need to do in regards to saving money, budgeting, and things of that nature, give it a try. Like one of the lenders has said, down payment assistance program, they have just become back available. So you would definitely want to put yourself in the position to take advantage of these things while they're available, because this is something that's not always available. So if you've definitely been working hard to own your home, definitely reach out to a realtor, because we can get you in contact with the people you need to be in contact with to get the whole process started.
Love it. Thank you, Sam. I'll have Alannah next, and then Brenda. And then Alannah, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Here we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. I love all of these thoughts, and I'm going to add another one to it. Ask questions of the person that you're interviewing to be your realtor. Do not just choose some random realtor. Find somebody that you either know personally, or you get a referral from someone you trust who's recently gone through some kind of process with them. If they have a relationship and you know how they do business and trust it, that's a great starting point. But you want to make sure whoever's serving you, that you are asking them, how are you going to serve me? How are you going to guide me towards the answers I'm looking for? What are the resources you have at your disposal? Who do you have and what do you have in your arsenal as I go through this? Because I don't know what it is that I need, and I need to know that you are prepared to serve all of the offshoot questions, not just the bottom line to the closing table. You want every aspect of it handled, and we want to be the concierge that gets you there. So interview us and make sure that we're the best fit for you. And you know, when we give you a recommendation, I promise you, I don't know a single realtor who's going to give a recommendation to a lender who didn't do a great job with them before. I mean, you want, as a professional, you want to work with other people who are feeding into that value and contributing to that great experience. So when you are in doubt, ask your agent. If you already have a relationship with a lender and maybe you don't have an agent, ask your lender, who do you love to work with? Who's on the ball? You know, and take it from there.
Absolutely. I love that. It's a great addition. Brenda, you're up. Go ahead and unmute yourself. There you go.
I was actually going to touch on what Alannah just mentioned, but like you said, it's really important to interview your realtor. It's really important for you to be comfortable speaking with your realtor, asking them questions, texting them. It's for majority of my clients, especially I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, it's their first time. So if you have any questions, concerns, text me. If there's something that you don't understand, let me know. We have to have that relationship so that we can communicate effectively in order to make sure that when we do make it to this closing table, we are both excited to be there. We're like, hey, let's celebrate. Let's go out for drinks later. Just kidding. But
it's not kidding.
Not kidding. I'm really not. But it's such a great moment, and it's rewarding for us agents to actually help you to attain home ownership. So we love that process. So again, just to piggyback, it's really, really good to interview your realtor and also make sure that you can communicate effectively with them.
Absolutely. And I do want to mention really quick is that there are so many moving parts to this process. And that's why it is very important to trust the people that you're working with. I mean, I have this conversation on a daily basis. I mean, when I'm talking to friends who are my age or even, you know, even not just anybody, nobody knows what title insurance is and what our point in the process is. Like, people know what a realtor is, they know what a mortgage company is, but that's not everything in the process. There's so many different parts, and we're one of them. So, you know, trusting the person that you're with to help you through that process, because there are so many moving parts, is really important. So, you know, hopefully we're seeing you at that closing table, and, you know, we're celebrating with you guys. So go ahead, Antonella. I see that you have to unmute yourself really quick.
I just wanted to add something on the other side. Like, everybody's saying, if you want to ask questions, if you have questions, if you have, you know, any issues, what I want to say is, please communicate and be clear and express all of your concerns. I've had, you know, people that were saying, oh, you know, I have a month to move out of this apartment and I need to find another apartment, and I think that just, you know, renting is just going to be the best option. And but, you know, at that point, what comes to mind, obviously, you know, if renting is your only option, renting is your only option. Okay, we figured that out. You know, it's up to you to make the decision to make that jump. But at the same time, talk to your realtor or talk to somebody, you know, that can help you with that, and figure out if you can still afford that rent, or if that rent is still available. If you were locked in with a contract that, you know, was 3 years ago, and the rent now is going to jump into, you know, $500 more, at that point, can you still afford that rent? Or maybe, you know, it's more feasible for you to actually look for something to buy where, you know, you put first, last, and security, and that's pretty much, you know, the down payment or closing costs for a house. So, you know, the timeline, you know, time is of the essence. If you think that in 1 month you cannot find a house, I mean, if you cannot find it to buy it, do you think you're gonna find it to rent? So, like, those are like different things that you have to look at. You know, if you already cannot find a house to buy that is gonna be your own house, are you going to give in into, I don't know, one room less just to, you know, afford the payment? Are you going to give up on, I don't know, an extra bathroom or, you know, a car garage? So when you're thinking in all those variables, and when you're thinking about all of the, you know, options that you have in front of you, I think it's, you know, it's better if you do have this conversation with somebody that is in the industry, whether it's a realtor, a lender, or anybody else that you can talk to, and I can give you some kind of direction. You know, obviously, you know, it doesn't have to be me or, you know, anybody on this panel, but just have that conversation or start the conversation, because it is going to be more beneficial for you, obviously, to, you know, have some better info.
Yeah,
sorry.
I love it. No, that's great. No, you guys have brought up so many amazing points, and I really love this open discussion. So I do want to go around, and do you have one last thing to add? Okay, really quiet. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
It's actually just one last thing, and I think this is going to help our realtors, our loan officers, as well as our clients as well, potential clients. One of the things that I've come across throughout my career as an agent is sometimes a language barrier when communicating with people that speak other languages. I think it's really important, if you're working with an agent that doesn't really speak that language, to connect them with the loan officer that does, so that they can communicate effectively. Also, the clients, when you're interviewing your realtors as well as your loan officers, ask those questions. It's really important, because those loan documents, you're locked into something for 30 years, and you want to make sure that you know what you're committing to the years of your life. So that's just a tip for everyone across the table.
I love that. Yep. Being educated, read your paperwork. Read your paper. That's one of the biggest things that we do, is like, we guide you through like what you're signing at the end of the day, so you understand what you're signing. Don't just sign papers just to sign them. Understand it. And that's the biggest thing that I can say. So we are going to go around and everybody's going to get their number one tip of the week. So, because this is top tips in real estate, right? So we've given you a lot of tips already, the whole thing, but what's your one takeaway that you think is most important? And we'll go down the list again. So Alannah, you'll be first, go ahead.
All right, cool. My one tip for buyers and future buyers out there is be decisive. The moment you make a decision and act on it, in the moment, the balls get rolling and you find that it's less scary to continue forward once you've started. So, that's my tip.
I love that. Antonella, you're next. Oops, sorry, go ahead.
Do your homework. So if you're moving to Port St. Lucie or you're moving from somewhere else in Florida or out of state, just, do your homework on the schools, and we're here to help you. So you're not going to be doing that all by yourself. But if you're looking for, top schools in the area, you're looking for a specific neighborhood, you're looking for, if you prefer HOA community versus, single family home out of a community, just, make sure that you look at all of the options before starting the process, because it will be a lot easier for you to find your new home.
Love that. Thank you. All right, Tony. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Should be unmuted, right?
Yes, you are.
All right. So my biggest tip of the day, first and foremost, though, Brenda, you had me at drinks. So now you got my mind all thrown off here. But now, all kicking aside, my biggest thing again is don't wait. And it's not don't wait on this specific topic. We're speaking about rent versus buy. But even if you're not ready to buy, and it's not the best thing, and I'll be honest, a lot of people question me all the time when I give them graphs like that. I'm a mortgage loan officer. I get paid 100% commission. It's not always in everybody's best interest to purchase a home, plain and simple. And, if I like to give them the facts to know, but if you wait, you're never going to know. So I have people all the time like, well, I don't want to pull credit now because I don't know where I'm at. Well, there's things to do that you may not be ready right now, but if you don't start now, you're not going to be ready possibly in 12 months. So you need to make sure you're working with somebody that's going to be there with you, not just, hey, today, here's your pre-approval, you can go buy a home, but someone that's actually going to guide you like, hey, you were not ready today. However, here's the steps to take. At that end, as realtors, as lenders, we can't make somebody do those items. But if you don't know what steps to take to be prepared when you are ready, you're never going to be ready, unfortunately. So don't wait, find out where you're at, find out what you need to do to be prepared for when you are ready. Now you're not playing catch up because your credit scores or your funds that you have aren't where you need to be.
That's great. Great tip. Carol, you are next. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, my number one tip as a lender, I would like to say that you should start saving for your down payment as early as possible. You can get into a home with as low as 3 to 3.5% down, but closing costs can run another 4 to 5%, that's kind of my boilerplate for that. And as a lender, we are always going to look at your bank statements for any large deposits other than payroll related. So if you do need to get some money into your account, get it in there early so that it's in there and seasoned by the time we see your bank statements. And what seasoning means is it's been in there from the opening of the statement to the ending of the statement. So there aren't any large deposits. So that's my little tip of the day. Start saving early.
I like that. That's a great tip. You guys are just full of tips. Loving it. Jessica, you're up. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Alrighty, so I think my biggest tips, I'm big on research, so that's what I want all my clients to do. Do research, but don't get stuck in it. So do your research with intention. Write down all of your goals, write down what you've learned, and then go back to your team to say, hey, this is what I've learned. Am I headed down the right track? So research with intention, that's what I can say. The whole real estate, home buying, rental, whatever process, it's a long process and can be daunting, but it can be smooth sailing if you have that good team. So that's my tip.
Thank you, Jessica. All righty, so then next is Sam. There you go. Oh, I gotta unmute yourself. There you go.
Okay, perfect. So my biggest tip for everyone today basically would be if this is a goal that you've set for yourself, go for it. If you put yourself in the position by saving your money, budgeting, and doing the things that you need to do, go for it. Give it a shot. Just like Tony said, you're not doing yourself a favor by waiting. So if this is a goal that you've set out for yourself as well as your family, definitely go for it.
Love that. Thanks, Sam. All right, Amanda, you're up.
Okay, my biggest tip would be just make sure that you are prepared. So seek out your mortgage lender who you want to work with. And as Tony said, get everything set up so that there's no surprises. Make sure your credit's fine. Make sure you qualify. As Carol said, with regards to deposits and deposits in bank statements, just make sure that everything's right so that there's not any problems. So definitely do your homework and make sure you're prepared, and start with your mortgage lender and build that relationship early.
Love that. Thanks, Amanda. And Dana, you're up.
Okay. So Carol, I feel the same way. It's all about saving money. So you had a lot of great points for down payment, but also I think even having money saved for after you own the house, and maybe you want to remodel, or you want to, some things happen, maybe you need a new washing machine. Definitely saving money enough for your down payment, and also for an emergency fund after you purchase.
Great, that's a great tip. Thank you, Dana. All right, next is Codi. You're up, Codi.
My biggest tip would be, if you are unsure about the process, go ahead to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram and take a look at my Bourgeois Experience series where I interview all the people in the process.
There you go. Love it.
I would say, I would say to people seriously to if you're gonna, whatever realtor you're gonna work with or whatever lender you're gonna work with, make sure it's somebody who's always gonna be there to answer your call. I get a lot of people who feel like they're bothering me if they're asking me questions, and I'm like, that's what I'm here for. So ask on, ask away. Whatever you need to know, I want to make sure that you are comfortable. So Absolutely. Make sure it's somebody that's ready to deal with you.
That's great. Thank you, Codi. That's a great tip. All right, Brenda, you are up. Go ahead and there you are.
Okay. My tip would be, if you're in the market or if you're thinking about purchasing a home, contact the realtor as soon as possible and not wait until the last minute. A lot of times your lease expires within 30 days. Give yourself at least 60 to 90 days so that you're able to find that home. And your first home may not be the home of your dreams. Be okay with settling. And just enjoy the process. It can be, again, it's a stressful process, but it's also an exciting process. It's a new adventure, so enjoy it.
I agree. Thanks, Brenda. We're all here to make the process less stressful for you. Katey, you're up. Go ahead.
Top tip for today, I think after hearing from all of these fantastic real estate professionals, the only thing that I would want to add is the people that you see on the screen are probably your best resource for local information. Those agents that are promoting themselves across the state are not necessarily your best advocate when it comes to where the schools are. Where's the best pizza joint close by? Where are your kids going to go to aftercare, or where are they going to go to dance lessons, or where are you going to go if you don't have a swimming pool? Where do you go to go hang out? How far is the beach? Being in touch with a local expert also can benefit you on the lending side as well, where they know about programs like the USDA program in Martin County. For instance, there are certain areas of our market area that you can have 100% financing and you don't have to be a veteran. The USDA program, have specific maps that the local experts know about.
I love
My
that.
phone's ringing. I love when my phone rings. I love when my phone rings. But yeah, basically go with the local expert, someone who knows their area. They know their stats and they know where to get the information that you seek. If they don't have it offhand, that's okay. We don't have to know everything. We're your source of resources.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Thank you, Katey. All right, Peter. Where you go? Oh, there you are.
I'm here.
There you are. I was like, I'm not forgetting you this time.
No, I guess my main tip for anybody that is proposing getting lending whatsoever is underutilize your credit and overestimate what you're going to have to bring to the table. This is why I say that. If you overestimate what you're bringing to the table, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have that excess amount of cash, do whatever it is that you need to do after you've made, you came to the closing table and purchased your house. Underutilized credit. I can't stress this enough. I've had so many people not qualify for lending just because they purchased a car 3 months or they leased a car 3 months. So try to underutilize your credit if you're getting prepared to purchase a home, even before you speak to a realtor or lender, just to get yourself kind of used to that process. Because I mean, once you purchase a home, yeah, go crazy. But at the time that you're getting ready to purchase a home, just make sure you really focus on saving as much as you can, not using your credit as much as you can.
Love that. You guys gave some amazing tips. This, I think, was very, very fruitful with a lot of information. So hopefully you guys who are watching, you guys can watch this replay on our Facebook page, but it'll probably be a little bit easier for you to find it on our YouTube page, Arrow Title Services. And we have a specified playlist for top tips in real estate, so you can go and binge watch all of them. So you guys pay attention to the people who are on this screen, because like Katey said, these are the people who are going to be there for you. These are the people who are taking time out of their day to share with you guys, just share this knowledge that we have. Knowledge is power. I cannot say that enough. Knowledge is power, and there's so much out there. There's so much information. Make sure you're getting the right knowledge. Really quick, we're going to go through some announcements. It looks like one of our people have an announcement, so that is Alannah. So I'll go ahead and you can unmute yourself. Yep, and go ahead and give your little quick announcement.
All right, guys, just last thought. I did actually put out a new episode today with going a little deeper into the myths of first-time home buying and, what people don't realize that they don't know, and some of those deeper questions to be asking when you're interviewing. So if that's something you want to check out, please feel free to go check out my Facebook page, Alannah Ghazel, Realtor at the Dean's List Group. And that way you can tune into them and feel free to check out and subscribe for great content. And thank you, Lucy. This has been really jam-packed today.
Yes, it has. Thank you all for being here. And for all of you guys watching this, you can contact each of them directly. I do have their Facebook pages linked up into the caption, so please go and check them out. They are amazing. So go up, down, wherever the caption thing is, go check them out. And, share this video with anybody who you know, to give them more information on this process. We are here for you, and we want to make sure that you guys are educated. So thank you so much for being tuned in today, and we hope you guys have an amazing day. So I will unmute everybody so that everybody can say bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Lucy. Thank you so much.
You,
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Lucy.
Bye.
Have a wonderful day.